Hello YouTube, it's Collecti-Bros Bryan here, and I wanted to take a look back at every single game I played in 2025. Now I know what you guys are thinking. You guys are saying, didn't you guys already do a 2025 year in review for the podcast? And yes, you'd be correct. But throughout the year, I ended up keeping a spreadsheet of every single game I played month by month, and I just thought it would be interesting to take a look back at every single game I played. And honestly, this year was pretty unique in terms of what games I played, how I decided to play games, and why I played certain games. Now, let's get this out of the way. There's one giant, glaring, contributing factor of the main reason why I played certain games this year. And that was because I ended up reaching a 1 million gamer score. I did a whole video on this when I achieved this milestone, and I'll link that video in the description. I think it's best that we group the games that I played into their own individual categories. This will give you guys a better idea of why I picked certain games when I did, why I picked games over other games, and yeah, it kind of gets you guys into my head and going through my thought process. Let's get everyone's favorite category out of the way first. Let's talk about live service games or games as a service, however you want to word it. I cut back on these this year, but there are a couple I played pretty religiously, honestly every week for a certain one. But if I just sit here and talked about every single time I played Marvel Rivals, because I played that game every single week, one, this would be a really long video, and two, we wouldn't get much done. We would just be glazing Marvel Rivals the whole time, which, don't worry, I've set time aside for to do so. But yeah, I figure the easiest way to do this is I will talk about the first time I played the game. So if I ended up playing a game in March, that's the first time I'll talk about it, and I'll tell you guys I also played it this month, and this month. I think it's just easier and more convenient for everybody this way. The second group of games I want to focus on are games that had servers shutting down or server closures. Now, as an achievement hunter, these games usually end up taking top priority for me, as the set achievements will never be able to be obtained again after a certain date. And yeah, I'll let you guys know if I ended up playing one of these games due to the servers being shut down, not necessarily for fun or because it's a game I wanted to play, which happens a lot of times. I'm looking at you, Need for Speed. The third group of games that I want to cover is something that I call Gimme Gamer Score games. Now, if you guys don't know or you're not aware, there's actually a ton of games on the PlayStation Store, Microsoft Store, and the Steam Store that basically you beat them very quickly in order to obtain gamer score, trophies, or Steam achievements. You guys are probably thinking, Bryan, as an achievement hunter, that probably is pretty alluring. Historically, that has not been the case. As my ratio is pretty high, I usually play pretty difficult games, and I talk about this a little bit in my 1 million gamer score video. But as I got closer to that 1 million gamer score, the forbidden fruit of these Gimme Gamer Score games was a temptation that I could not resist in 2025. I will be completely transparent with you guys and state that most of these games, emphasis on most, not all of them, are not very good video games. Of course, there are a few exceptions, and these are the games that I will spend more time on because, quite frankly, if they're fun, if they're interesting, they deserve a look. But reality sinks in, and there's definitely some stinkers on this list that I played this year. Those will get the amount of time that they deserve. The next group of games are games that I played randomly or games that I played for fun, because we play video games as gamers, right? Like, I don't think this one needs a lot of explanation. I hope not. And then last note before we get started, I will not be covering games that we played for the podcast, simply for redundancy. Of course, I have thoughts and feelings on the podcast games. That's why we do the Is It Worth It episodes. And you guys are more than welcome to check those out. They're all listed wherever you guys find podcasts and on YouTube. I ended up playing over 130 games in 2025, so this is not going to be deep 1 hour and 30 minute reviews like we do for the podcast for individual games. This is going to be more along the lines of initial thoughts, feelings, impressions for every game, so we can actually cover every single game I played. With that being said, let's move on to the month of January. The very first game I played in 2025 was actually because it was the last game I was playing in 2024, and that's Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I had really high praises for this game on the podcast. I still feel that way about this game. I think this is one of the best games of this console generation. I think it's an absolute blast to play. It's beautiful. The sound design's great. I don't really have any negatives for this game. I didn't experience any glitches or anything. I just think this is a really well done, like what a AAA game is supposed to be in every aspect. Like, this game's awesome, and what a great game to start the year with. I ended up beating it, getting every collectible, 100%ing it, getting every achievement, and I absolutely loved every single second I spent with this game. 2025 had DLC release for this game. I unfortunately did not get to play it in 2025, but maybe there's hope for 2026. Next up is our first server closure, and a theme you're going to see early on in the year, as studios tend to close these games early in the year just to have nice first quarter numbers where they're not having servers that have no people on them cutting into their cost. And that game is EA Sports Roy McIlroy PGA Tour. Now, being transparent with you guys, I could give a single fuck less about golf. It's just not my thing, and I don't see the allure behind the sport. The online achievements for this game were pretty simple. You had to play a head-to-head game ranked, you had to play an unranked game, you had to have 18 holes of a stroke play with 4 people. Like, there wasn't a lot here. And as a golf game, this is a perfectly serviceable game if that's your thing, if you're into golf. This game's cheap. I mean, there's probably better options available, but there's nothing wrong here. It's not for me. And, you know, when these server closure games happen and you're an achievement hunter, if you want to get these achievements, you play games you don't care about. And boys and girls, you may be asking yourself, why do I do this? It's called addiction. This is what addiction looks like. I'm addicted to Gamerscore. So, you know, the Gamerscore Lord giveth and the Gamerscore Lord taketh. No sins here, though. This game was perfectly serviceable. Unlike the next game, which in my opinion was one of the worst games I played in 2025, and that is Kart Rider Drift. This is a free-to-play Mario Kart style clone based out of Korea, and man, there's a lot of things to hate here. First being, this game is completely cross-play, so you're going to be playing with Korean PC hackers, and there's people who take this game, this free-to-play game, very serious, so you're going to lose a lot, and if you need achievements to win, it's kind of hard to do. I put about 25 hours into this one, and that's literally all I could stomach. The estimated completion time is 120 to 150 hours, and man, honestly, just being truthful with you guys, some achievement drugs are stronger than others, and I was able to resist the siren song for this one. I just didn't have it in me, man. Like, I can deal with a game that takes a long time to get the achievements in. That's not a problem for me. But sitting there and fighting hackers and stuff, like, I'm good, man. This game controlled like shit. It looked like shit. It was one of the most predatory monetization games I've ever seen. And good riddance, Kart Rider Drift. On to free-to-play hell you go. You will not be missed. No one loves you. Goodbye. Hey guys, it looks like there's a theme going on here. Another free-to-play game that's a Super Smash Bros. Clone. This one's called Divine Knockout. Instead of Nintendo characters, you pick Greek and Roman gods and you beat the shit out of each other. I honestly did not hate my time with this game. I've played much worse. And this game originally started out as like a paid early access game that turned into a free-to-play game. And that's usually the nail in the coffin in the death sentence. The gameplay was actually pretty fun here. Characters were unique. I feel like if this one was like a $5 or $10 game, instead of trying to have that Fortnite style, you know, we're going to take you for every penny you got type of monetization, they could have had something here. I'm not saying it would have been a hit, but maybe the servers would still be up, or maybe you make them peer-to-peer and some people can still play them, but you can no longer play this game. It's been delisted on every storefront. I put about 5 hours into it. I've played egregiously worse games. This one's not so bad. Next up is the first games as a service game that I played, and I played it every single week. This was hands down my most played game of 2025. I had over 210 hours put into this game, and god damn it, I loved every single minute of it. And that game is Marvel Rivals. Now I understand the biggest criticism of this game is that it doesn't reinvent the wheel. It's nothing new. It's basically Overwatch with a fresh coat of paint. But some of us truly enjoy the smell of fresh paint, myself included. And that's some good smelling paint. I love the way this game looks. I think they nailed that anime style aesthetic. seeing some of these characters that I'm super familiar with reinvented and kind of explored new ways to look at them and redesigned completely. I think most of them work outstandingly, with the exception of like maybe Wolverine. For the most part, some of these character designs are really fucking cool. And as a Marvel fan who kind of sees the same iteration over and over, it's a breath of fresh air, man. I think the gameplay is great. I love how every single character feels completely unique. You have to sit there and actually learn the characters. I have 4 awards now, and it's not a brag. I know you can get playtime awards and all that. But like sitting there and maximizing one to award status, then moving on to the next character and trying to learn them, it's one of the most rewarding aspects of the game in my opinion. It's something that I find myself doing, and trying out the other characters and just trying to get them up and move on to the next is part of the fun for me. If I had to be critical somewhere in this game, I would say it's the sound design. As someone that grew up like a Silver Age Marvel fan, the thing I love about these characters is that they're normal people who happen to be superheroes. This game does this weird thing where it kind of turns them into like Pokemon, where they say the attack, they announce the attack they're gonna do, or they chant their name over and over and again and again. You see what I did there? It's just kind of weird and jarring from being a lifelong Marvel fan, but we're getting into like nitpick territory here. Like if this is my only complaint about this game, which quite frankly it is, we're doing alright. I don't think this game gets enough recognition for how well it's supported. You have cheap battle passes, they're like $8. You get tons of skins with them, you get tons of sprays and emotes, and you get a bunch of content in every single battle pass. You get 2 new characters every 3 months, which is crazy. Like, imagine if Overwatch would do that. They would never. And how much money does Blizzard have? Like, they're able to do so, they just choose not to. Like, the fact that this game's been so well supported since its existence is awesome. And it's a big reason why I'm going to keep playing in 2026. Next up was one of the most disappointing games I played in 2025, and that's Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance. Now, I'm a pretty new D&D player. I've only been playing for a couple years, but I love D&D, man. The thing I love about it most is like just the world building and the fact that the only handicap in D&D is you as the player and like how far you're willing to take things or how far you're willing to create something. And you think more Dungeons & Dragons games would explore that aspect of D&D other than Baldur's Gate 3, but it's definitely not the case here. Where the D&D starts and begins with this game is there's some characters that if you're familiar with the lore, they're here, but if not, this is a pretty generic action game. And going into this game, I know this game did not review pretty well. It was around 6s and 7s, and people need to realize like 7's a good game, 6 is a fair game, but in my opinion, this game's more of a 4. Like, this is not a very good game. It's kind of hard to articulate, just like doing basic functions like walking, jumping, attacking. It just feels a certain way. Kind of like a really low budget original Xbox PS2 sort of way where everything kind of feels like you're on ice and they didn't apply any physics. It's so mind-boggling to me that this game's a PS5 Series X game because it feels like an original Xbox PS2 game in the worst way possible. This is one I ended up playing because they shut the online co-op servers down. I did, however, play about 15 hours in the solo campaign, and this is one I don't see myself going back to anytime soon. To be frank, there's just better action game options, there's better D&D game options. This just isn't a very good game. Next up is one that kind of surprised me a little bit, and that is Those Who Remain. This was a title that was leaving Game Pass, and I saw it was a relatively short game, so I figured, why not? I'll give it a shot. The reviews were kind of either high or kind of mid, so it seemed like it was a pretty divisive game, but I actually enjoyed my time with this one. So this is a horror walking sim, which I know. Look, here's the thing with these walking simulator games. If it has a great story, I'm in. Like, that's what draws me to these type of games. It's the ones that drag on and there's nothing going on, there's no merit to the story that I don't care about. But this one did a lot of cool things. It's got horror, which I'm a fan of horror. It's got kind of like a good bad system, kind of like Fable or Mass Effect. So if you're into like making choices, the overlying themes like forgiveness or vengeance, so there's a lot of interesting choices you can make without getting into spoilers that are kind of wild. But yeah, this one was fun, man. I enjoyed this one way more than I was supposed to, Ended up playing it twice, getting 100%, getting all the collectibles, getting every achievement. Put about 6.5 hours into it. Like, this is definitely one worth checking out if you can get it for cheap. These are the kind of small indie games that I play a lot of, and when they turn out in my favor and I end up enjoying them like this, it's awesome, man. Next up is a game I had very high praises for in 2024, and I still feel that way in 2025. That's EA Sports College Football 25. I still feel like this is the best sports game on the market. I think it's so much more dynamic than Madden with the offenses. You've got the RPOs, you've just got like college ball style, the option. It's tons of fun to play offensively, man. I think recruiting is much more engaging than sitting there and trying to sign free agents or restructure contracts like you do in pro ball. But the big thing with this game is the atmosphere. Like, there's no other game that nails that feeling of being at the stadium with like the crowd screaming and yelling and the screen shaking because the crowd's so loud. Like, especially if you play as like one of your favorites. If you're in the college football and you go to Notre Dame or wherever, and it's like they have the fight song, they play the certain songs they play on third down. Like, it's a great experience if you're a college football fan. If you're a football fan at all, I can't recommend this game enough. I ended up passing on College Football 26 just because of the new transfer rules. Like, the roster's not as important as it was in years past. It's going to change so rapidly and so suddenly now. So maybe I'll pick up 26 when it's cheap, but for now, 25's still the best sports game on the market, man. Next up is another server closer game, and that is Hood, Outlaws and Legends. This game was actually pretty fun. It's kind of akin to like a co-op Assassin's Creed. You're sneaking around, you play as like Robin Hood or other bandits, and the computer and the NPCs are a bunch of knights guarding gold, so you've got to break into the castle, steal gold, get it back to your hideout. Every bandit's got their own abilities, and you're basically relying on your co-op teammates to make sure you steal this gold and get it back to your base. Put about 44 hours in this one to get all the achievements done. Unfortunately, it's been delisted. You can't play it anymore. The big thing with this one's that I ended up meeting a group of achievement hunters, and they're all really good dudes. We play pretty much once a week at this point. It's a great group of guys. I met some new friends and got achievements also. Like, what's better in life, man? Next up, another golf game, another server closer. That's the Golf Club 2019. And yeah, to be blunt, this game's awful. We don't have the PGA license, so it's all just generic golfing. The controls are horrible for this one. It's like your typical golf game where the right thumbstick swings the stick back, but there's no indication on the screen of how you're doing. So you have to like authentically get a hang of swinging the stick a million times, and I just didn't have it in me, man. I got what I could for the achievements on this one, but due to the other golf games that were closing during the same time, which we'll talk about next, I focused on those more than this one. I only spent about an hour playing this when I said, fuck it, there's bigger and better things to do. Next up was the Golf Club 2, made by the same developer as Golf Club 2019, and they actually did end up getting the PGA license after the Golf Club 2. Probably because Golf Club 2 is a million times better than Golf Club 2019. The controls were way more responsive. You could actually tune them to figure out what you liked better. There's options for hitting the ball in different spots. Like, this one kind of goes in depth a little bit, but not to the point where I couldn't figure it out. I ended up getting all the online achievements done in this one. It's a much, much better game than 2019, and I actually had a little bit of fun, I guess, if you can call golf fun, with this one. This was probably the best golf game I played. Maybe ever, I guess, not just of 2025. I haven't played a ton of golf games. Next up, I picked a PSP game to play simply because I wanted to play a PSP game. We talked about it in 2024. I wanted to play some retro games more, and this was a good opportunity. I picked Coded Arms for the PSP. This is a first-person shooter developed by Konami, and it was released early into the life cycle of the PS3. Honestly, it's not my favorite game. It's not great. I think it's really pretty, and it's interesting seeing this genre on the PSP with its one thumbstick, but it controls about like you think it would with having one thumbstick. It relies heavily on the auto lock, which honestly to me is just boring. Like, yeah, you can still free aim, but you have to be stationary. It's not a great experience when you're trying to play a shooter. I actually had trouble consistently playing this one. I put it down for a long while and ended up picking it up later in the year and finishing it, but I didn't really enjoy my time with it. I mainly finished the first one because I knew I wanted to play 2, which is supposed to be a much better game, but I don't know, man. This is not one I can recommend. I'm glad I played it because it's been on my shelf for a long time and I actually want to play my games, but there's better options for sure. Next up was a free-to-play clicker style game, and if you guys don't know what that is, you basically just click on the screen and gain levels and make numbers go up. But this one's kind of an RPG. It's called Grim Idol. It's got like a medieval fantasy setting, and you constantly upgrade your weapons so you can kill more and more shit. The game like auto runs, and you're basically getting experience for killing enemies and use that experience to buy better weapons. And I don't know, man. Something about these clicker style games, they scratch part of my monkey brain where I like seeing numbers go up and actually have fun with these kind of games, man. I realize these games are developed for the mobile market in mind, where you're just, clicking the touch screen constantly. But this one was actually on Xbox and PlayStation. Kind of interesting to see this genre cross over to the console market. But this one's pretty fun. It's got RPG elements where you can make some decisions, and the way you invest your stats to do more damage, you have to actually put some thought into it. Changes the genre just a little bit, makes it more interesting than your usual click on the money stack kind of game. But yeah, if you're into these kind of games, this one's worth checking out. I ended up getting every achievement on the Xbox One and Xbox Series X version of this game, and I enjoyed my time with it for what it was. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it was game of the year or anything, but if you're into these like clicking games, this is the idle games, this is a good one, man. This is an interesting one. And to close the month of January, I of course played some Fortnite. Now admittedly, I did not play as much Fortnite in 2025 as I did in 2024. I mainly intentionally took a step back from Fortnite because I knew I was going to be playing more Marvel Rivals, and I don't want to dedicate myself to these Battle Pass games, man. If there's content that I care about or I'm interested in, like if they had superhero stuff or Star Wars stuff like they did early in the year, like I'm there, man. But some of the stuff I just didn't care about, like the generic superheroes, like I got my Superman skin and I stopped playing. The Helldivers one was fun, but I had Helldivers to play instead of it, so why would I play Fortnite? Overall, 2025 for Fortnite, like it was what it was. Fortnite's still a great game. It's still supported. I just intentionally took a step back because I wanted to play other games, and I don't think that's a crime. This takes us to the month of February, and I started out, I was looking for a game for Sherry and I to play together. I remember Barry was talking about Atlas Fallen, and sure enough, it was on Game Pass, so I checked it out co-op with Sherry. This was a great recommendation from Barry. This game's super fun, the world's interesting, the combat's really engaging. I love comboing. It reminds me of like the old God of Wars with much more momentum and fluidity. This is one I definitely want to track down a physical copy of and get. We didn't end up beating this game just because Sherry's got game ADD, and that's fine, we still love her. But this is one I definitely want to go back and track down and finish the story and see how it ends and get all the achievements on. It's a pretty fun game. It's definitely worth checking out, especially if you got a co-op partner. Next up, it finally released on Xbox, so I finally picked it up. Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics. And what is there to say, man? Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is one of my favorite games ever made. This one's also got the X-Men game, and these are great ports, man. They run well, just the ease of access. It's so great to have these finally on like modern hardware. I'm still gonna buy like a PS5 physical copy because I want a physical copy of this game. Unfortunately, the Xbox version's digital, but this is one I still pick up and play every once in a while. It's just so fun and accessible, and so glad that it's finally available to every platform. Next up is a Gimme Gamerscore game. Well, it's a full retail release game, but hey man, when you're smelling that million Gamerscore, you get desperate. It's Paw Patrol World, and I played this because it was on Game Pass and I didn't want to spend money on it. I knew if I gave about 6 hours, I can get 1,000 Gamerscore. Honestly, people are laughing and stuff, but if you play Banjo-Kazooie, then this game's basically the same thing. You go around and you collect a bunch of bones and shit instead of gold puzzle pieces. It's a collectathon, so if you have fun playing Banjo-Kazooie, you're gonna have fun playing Paw Patrol. Did I have fun playing Paw Patrol? No, it was what it was. I can set my brain to neutral and play this thing, and that's exactly what I did. But it ain't the first Paw Patrol game I played, and it ain't gonna be the last, alright? Next up is a game I've been wanting to check out for a long time, but didn't really have a reason to, and with the servers closing, this was the perfect opportunity, and that's Resident Evil Reverse. Look, I love Resident Evil. I'm willing to play any game in this series, but this series is not going to be a competitive multiplayer game. Look, this game's not horrible, alright? Like, it's serviceable, it's fine, especially because it was just a free little add-on if you bought Resident Evil 8 Village, but like, they shut it down for a reason. Nobody's playing this thing. It was so difficult to get into a game, and I had crossplay on and everything, but I put about 4 hours in this to get all the achievements because it was such a cakewalk. You ran into the same 3 guys that were going for achievements, you know, every single time you tried playing this thing, but it plays very much like over-the-shoulder Resident Evil remake style games. You're killing zombies, you're getting upgrades, you're killing other players when you see them. Kind of uneventful, kind of cool. It was Resident Evil because it was Resident Evil. If this was still up, I wouldn't be playing it for fun. I'll put it like that though. I got my gamer score, I left, I checked the list of Resident Evil, on to the next game. Continuing the zombie theme, we've got Zombie Derby. And if you guys are familiar with the Trials game, where you're on the motorcycle and you've got to balance and it's physics based, this is the same thing but with zombies and guns on your car. I mainly picked this one because it's got 5,000 gamer score, which is pretty wild. You can get the whole thing done in about 2 hours. It's a fun game though. If you're into these physics-based games or you're doing the flips and trying to land, like, there's more substance here than a lot of these gimme gamer score games. If you like these style of games, this is a decent one. It's pretty cheap. I think it was like $5. But yeah, adding the upgrades to your car and getting the advancement and getting further and further was semi-rewarding. Figuring out some of the loop physics and the puzzles behind that. There was more here than just like holding the right trigger and giving you gamer score, you know? And that's more fun, actually playing the game instead of just giving it to you. So this was a decent one. This isn't your typical like gimme gamer score bullshit. This one was pretty fun. Next up was another game that was leaving Game Pass that you can beat relatively quick, so I figured I'd give it a shot. And this was one of the prettiest games I played in 2025, and that's Gris. Gris is a side-scrolling puzzle game. There's a lot of jumping and moving light sources around and teleporting and dashing, but it's a good game, man. I'm pretty picky when it comes to these puzzle games. I will play them usually due to like following a guide and being able to get gamer score. I played this one legit and was able to figure it out. This was a fun game. It's got like hand-drawn animations which are really pretty. Like, this one's worth a play. I don't think it's super expensive either. It's under $20. I don't think there's a physical copy. I kind of wish there was. This is one I would pick up if there was. But good game, man. It's one thing I love about Game Pass is you're going to find things like this that I usually want to play. But if I see a game that's like, I know I don't have to invest a ton of time in, that I can play and get achievements or just play for fun, this would fall in both those categories. So I'm really glad I played this one. This was a fun little game, and I think it's worth checking out if you have the opportunity to do so. Up next is truly a gimme gamer score game, and that is Fluffy Milo. Fluffy Milo is a puzzle game where you push blocks onto other blocks and or other squares to open other paths. It's a top-down view, and there's literally guides you can follow that's just like left, down, 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 up, right, right. So you don't even need to look at the screen if you need to. I'll be honest, I was in here for the gamer score. It was on sale for like $1.50 or something, so I bought it. And yeah, I got my gamer score. I haven't thought about it since doing this video. I actually had to look up and try to remember what kind of game this was. It left no impact on me whatsoever. And I think there's multiple sequels now for this, so hey, if they're on sale, maybe I'll play them in 2026. Like, I'm not paying full price for these type of games. Don't get it twisted. Like, we're here for the gamer score. We know why we're here. We're not trying to find like a hidden gem or anything. Give me that gamer score. This game's worth 4,000 gamer score, and it took me about 2 hours to, quote, solve every puzzle. Next up is a gimme gamer score game that was actually fucking awesome. And if you're a fan of Contra, I highly recommend you check out Crushborgs. This game is straight up a spiritual successor to Contra. It is identical gameplay, you're running and gunning. It's even got the spread shot. You're robots, so if you played Pro Protector, it's more like that. So this game's really fucking fun if you're a fan of Contra. It's even got that like punishing difficulty, so it was really rewarding when you did it. It's actually worth 4,000 gamer score now, so they just added 1,000 gamer score as I was recording this. So I'll be playing this one again in 2026 to get the last couple achievements, but it's always rewarding when you think you're going to play a game that's going to be quick for gamer score, and then you play it and the game's actually really fun. Like, even after I got my achievements, I went through and played the rest of the game to beat it just because I had so much fun with it, man. You can do co-op, so 2-player. Like, if you're looking for that new Contra experience, and it's cheap, man. This thing's like $5, and it's better than the new Contra game that came out that's actually Contra. So I honestly recommend this one a lot. This was probably my favorite Gimme Gamer Score game I played in 2025, and honestly looking forward to mopping it up in 2026. Next up, another Gimme Gamer Score game, and our last Gimme Gamer Score game for February. It was Deader Enhanced Edition. This is basically an NES style game where you're pushing a stack of brick to jump to the next platform. There's coins you need to pick up to advance to the next board. It's pretty rudimentary. They make these things simple so that you can literally follow it without a guide and get your gamer score. This one ended up being worth 5,000 gamer score, so a significant chunk. I got that gamer score within 30 minutes, and this is why I played it. It's not a great game, if I'm being honest. And the very last game I played in February was due to server closures, but it was the Assassin's Creed Unity multiplayer. They ended up shutting the multiplayer aspect of this game down. There was achievements tied to it, so I ended up playing it. I'm not a huge fan of the Assassin's Creed multiplayer. I feel like it's always just a tacked on thing because that's what they did back then. I don't miss any of these. Assassin's Creed to me needs to remain single player. They did a spin-off game or something where it had to be and you're still playing in the same world and it was more co-op instead of versus. That's something that interested me more, but this one, man, no loss here. There were specific co-op missions you had to do, but they're so quick and they're so just like rudimentary. There's nothing here. If you didn't get to experience the multiplayer, you didn't lose anything in that process, and thankfully the single player is still active. You can still play it, but no loss here. Kicking things off for March, SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. Now, I realize this is a pretty beloved game if you're in a certain age group. This is one that I did not grow up playing, so this was my first experience with it. And look, it was on Game Pass. I knew it wouldn't be too difficult, so I was like, I think I can put some time into this and get the achievements. It took me about 8 hours to get all the achievements, but for what it was fun. I could see if you're a SpongeBob fan, which I'm not. I just don't know anything about it, quite frankly. I'm just neutral on SpongeBob. For what it was fun though. It was like an action platformer. It was kind of nice just to play a platformer game like this. Like, this genre doesn't really exist anymore, you know? So it's kind of fun to go back and revisit it. It's a well done remake. Like, it runs really smooth. You can tell it's kind of got that floatiness. Like, they didn't change anything. They didn't reinvent the wheel. They just kind of prettied it up. So I'm curious to how, if you're a fan of the original, how your experience was with it, because I don't think it reviewed very well. But I had fun with it. It was worth playing, I think, especially, you know, if you're into SpongeBob or if you're in these kind of games. Like, worth checking out for sure. Like I said, it was short, under 10 hours, like, good time. Next up, one of the best games to come out in 2025 that I played was Monster Hunter Wilds. If you enjoyed Monster Hunter World, this is more of that. And quite frankly, this is the Monster Hunter game that I've been waiting on. Pretty casual when it comes to Monster Hunter, just because it's such a time sink and it's such an investment. But man, Wilds was so good, and I was worried if they would be able to live up to that hype, right? But they did, man. This game's great. It's supported well, runs smooth. I played it on console, so I didn't have any of the issues that I hear the PC version has. But like, it's fun with friends. Obviously, Barry carried me the whole time. Like, I'm not great at Monster Hunter, but it was fun to play, man. It's everything I wanted, just more. It doesn't reinvent the wheel or try to change shit too drastically. It's a good old time, man. If you liked Monster Hunter World, you're gonna like Monster Hunter Wilds. So check it out if that's something that interests you. Next game was another server closer game, and I think it's directly due to Monster Hunter Wilds coming out that same month. This game was called Dauntless, and it was basically Epic's version of Monster Hunter. If you made it free to play and added a bunch of monetization bullshit to it. I wonder why it wasn't successful. This thing was a major time sink, and I did not get every achievement in it just because I was like, fuck this, man. Like, there's way better ways to spend my time, and I chose to do so by playing actual Monster Hunter instead of this game. I got a couple friends that ended up getting it done, and it was, 100 plus hours, and I'm good, man. And it's not just like a time sink where you're doing the same thing over. There were certain events you had to get, and certain people had to be on at certain times, and I was like, you know what, man, I'm good with this one. I'll play it for a little bit, get what I can, move on to the next game. But yeah, I will play a game if I know I'm not going to complete it and get all the achievements. Like, I get what I can. You're never going to be able to get any of them again anyway, so I might as well just get what I can get, right? That was my thought process with this one. I don't regret it. I don't want to play this one anymore. It was not great. Up next, another server closer, but a pour one out server closer. This game carried college football on its back for years. It's NCAA Football 14. They obviously shut this down due to having NCAA Football 25 out. And it's kind of crazy going back to this thing, because I remember for years there was just online dynasties where people kept it running. You gotta remember, it's a 360 PS3 game. So the fact that they were still up is crazy. I mean, these servers were over 10 years old at this point, but they finally decided to shut it down due to having 25 out. It was so funny to go back to like 360 style football, but man, what a legend. Like, it was fun to play it one more time online, and there's still a shitload of people that were on this thing until the very last minute, so not everybody jumped over to 25. And if you make that kind of commitment, I get it, You've literally been playing the same game for like 10 or 11 years. So pour one out for NCAA 14. The price did tank horribly on this thing because it was expensive for the longest time. And now at 25 out, it's like a $20 game. Up next is a really interesting one. This game released in February of 25, and the server shut down in March of 2025. And that's Spectre Divide. If y'all remember, this is one that like Shroud was hyping up, and I think he had some money into it, but the fact that they shut it down so quickly, I don't know, man. To me, it was kind of a shame because I thought this game was actually really fun. And yeah, it didn't reinvent the wheel. It's basically just Counter-Strike with like teleporting and shit. But I had fun with this game. I ended up getting every single achievement. I was pretty goddamn good at it. I put about 22, 23 hours into it. But this was a good game. I wish I could have seen this game grown and get more maps. And look, man, like, it doesn't reinvent the wheel, but if it's a fun game and it's free to play, like, I'm gonna play it. So no regrets. Pouring out for Spectre Divide. I think this game was gone too soon, and I don't know the reason why they closed it. I'm assuming just because it didn't make $10 million day one. But good game, man. Game took a lot of guff, but I think it was mostly from people who didn't play it. Next up is another free-to-play kart racer that got its server shut down. Jeez, imagine that. This one really fucking sucked. It was Stampede Racing Royale, and I could barely stomach this one. I only put about 3 hours into it before I said, I don't care, I'm done, I'm good. The thing with this one was it was really ugly. It ran at like 20 frames per second. Horrible monetization, just like loot boxes and everything. I was like, I'm good, man. Get me the fuck out of this thing. It doesn't even deserve a lot of time here. It was bad. It's gone forever. Thank God. Rotten free-to-play hell. Next up is a game I decided to play because it was actually delisted. Thankfully, I owned it, and with these digital-only games, man, I don't want to risk like it getting delisted and me not being able to access to it. Another reason for fuck digital games. But it was called Delta Squad. There was an issue with the publishing company where they didn't want to have its rights relisted, so they just removed it from all platforms. It's a isometric shooting game where it's like tactical. It's not the worst thing I've ever played, especially because I thought it was just going to be another like gimme gamer score game, which I think it's his intention, but it was actually kind of difficult. You had to like actually try, which I prefer. I like playing games, and like an achievement to me should be something that you earn, that you are rewarded with. So this one was kind of fun. It was what it was. Some of the bosses were difficult, so it wasn't just a gimme gamer score in the truest sense. You actually had to put some effort in. Not the worst piece of shit I ever played. Up next was another gimme gamer score game. And yeah, man, I was crunching them pretty hard at this point, trying to get close to that million. But this one was called Infestor. This one was pretty fun. You play as an alien, and it's kind of like Super Meat Boy, where you have to dodge traps and lasers and that sort of thing. But the gimmick was that you could hijack the enemies as an alien. So a lot of times you had to like kill yourself as the enemy by getting killed by another enemy so you can jump to that enemy. Or some of the enemies had guns, so you had to like hijack that enemy and kill the other enemies with the one you hijacked. This wasn't bad, man. This was pretty fun. I like puzzle games like this, so this was a good one. Up next was another Gimme Gamer Score game, and this one was a Super Meat Boy clone in the truest sense. It's called League of Evil. You basically played as like super villains, and you had a jump kick you had to use to like jump across paths, dodging lasers and everything. It's identical to Super Meat Boy. It's a cheap clone. It was difficult like Super Meat Boy, so I'm actually kind of proud to get this one done. Not a lot of people on True Achievements have this one done. Currently it's at only 300 people, 41% have it done. The estimated time was like 3 to 4 hours, but because this was more difficult than other ones, it took me like 6.5. So proud to get this one done. You know, I think everyone mistakes like these under $5 games are going to be cakewalks. It's not always the case, man. This one was definitely tough. This was the one I was sweating if I'm going to get it or not, but I finally did, man. And that's how achievements should be. Once again, I already said it once in this video, I'm going to say it again. Achievements should be earned. I saved 2 good ones for the end of March. First being Black Desert Online. I've talked about this game on the podcast. I actually had to do more than fishing because they shut down the servers for the Xbox One and PS4 version of this game. So I had to hurry up and get a lot of other things done. And man, I still love this game. I just very recently picked it up for Xbox Series X, and I'll probably go back to playing it at some point, but they changed some of the fishing, so I don't know, man. I'm not as excited to play the new version. I've heard it's kind of just more of the same, but they made some changes to make it easier to get some of these badges. So I don't know, man. We'll see. I'm grateful to get all the achievements in this one because I did sink so much time into it, like playing it for fun. It's one I really did want to complete, and then I'm getting every achievement in it, so pretty proud of that. There's not a lot of people who have all the achievements in this game. It's currently at a 1% for people that have every achievement in it, with only 1,221 people completing it, with 108,527 people playing it. And this was fun too because the group of guys I was playing with that were going for the achievements, I was the expert for once, so I had to like coach them through fishing. I gave them a lot of my items for cheap in this shop because they did not transfer over to the new version. So pull one out for Black Desert. I'll probably end up playing it in 2026 again, but I still have this save file. I finished like 8, I think, overall still for fishing. So good times, man. Lots of memories here. And last but surely not least, one of my favorite games, honestly, in recent memory. I did a whole video about it earlier in the year. I'll link that in the description as well because I love this game. Power Wash Simulator. I'm not going to spend a ton of time here because I did a whole video about this, but what a great game, man. I ended up getting 100% on this one. I did every level. I got every achievement. I put hundreds of hours into this game. I love this game. There's no other way to say it. This game's an all-timer for sure. For the month of April, I played a lot of the games that I was already playing in March, so I'm not going to repeat myself, but 2 of them that were different. First being Battlefield 2042. Much like the rest of the community, I've jumped back in after the announcement of Battlefield 6. We were too cruel to this game. It's come a long way. It was actually a pretty good game when everything was said and done. They put a lot of effort in here. I do miss the ability to quick swap items and scopes and things. I thought that was a really nice addition. But yeah, this game turned out being a serviceable Battlefield game at the end of things. And then lastly, for the month of April, was a game that released in 2025. I heard a lot of buzz about it, so I wanted to check it out, and that was Schedule 1. This game was a lot of fun. It's one that I did not spend nearly enough time with, but I want to go back and revisit it and check it out. I know they've added a bunch of things to it. It's a simple game, but it's an inventory management, resource simulator, which I love that kind of stuff, man. And it's funny, like the aesthetics of the game. If this game took itself really serious, it would not hit the same way. The fact that it is goofy, you can like skateboard around, and just the animations where these lifeless faces are staring at you, that adds so much value to me. Like this seems a fun game. I would love to see it come to consoles also. The first game for the month of May is one that I wanted to play when it released, but I just never got around to it. And with it leaving Game Pass, this was the perfect opportunity to play it. And that's Big City Little Kitty. This game was an absolute treat. It's got so much character, so much soul. It's actually really fun to play as well, like exploring the world itself as a cat. I think the animations are one of the highlights for me for this game, just like sneaking up on the birds and doing the pounce jump. It's so cute of a game, man. This game's adorable. And as an animal person, and I have 2 cats, watching my cats watch me play this game was an absolute blast. This is one I definitely want a physical copy of. What an adorable little game, and this is the kind of game that's like perfect for Game Pass as well. Next up is a pair of old Madden games. We've got Madden 21 and Madden 22. I actually had to play 4 versions of this because there's an Xbox One and an Xbox Series X version, and they closed the online servers and there's achievements attached to them. So what do you want me to say, man? It's Madden. There's a new one every year, and they close 1 or 2 of the old ones every year. It's Madden. Next up is a pretty funny one. This game literally released for $1 on the marketplace. It's called Shark Adventure. This looks like it was made on like Flash or Java, and it was ungodly simplistic. I mean, it was a fucking $1, bro. The objective of this game is to get to the right side of the screen, as it's a side scroller. You have to dodge obstacles. You can shoot lasers for some reason. I mean, there's not a lot here. This is such a simplistic game. 75% completion rate. It was $1. Like, there's no way on earth you can't tell me these devs knew exactly what they were doing. It is funny when these kind of games come up because, like, most people don't give a shit about achievements. And the fact that the dev, you know for a fact it was $1 and it's this easy to get the gamer score. It took me 14 minutes to get all the achievements. They knew exactly what they were doing. Next up, my number 3 game of the year and my most anticipated game of 2025. That is Doom: The Dark Ages. I won't spend a ton of time here because I covered my thoughts extensively on the podcast. But yeah, man, this one lived up to the hype. I love how the new Doom games just completely reinvent themselves every single time. And if you had told me, 2 years ago that a Doom game where you don't circle strafe, where you stand your ground and you use melee weapons and you deflect attacks would have worked, I would have called you crazy, but they nailed it, man. This game's so much fun. The medieval aesthetic totally fits Doom. Like, they knocked it out of the park. I can't wait for the DLC for this one. I'll be there day one. This is one of my favorite games of the year, hands down. Next up was The First Descendant. This is a free-to-play game, and I know it got a lot of buzz when it came out, but they ended up closing the servers down for the Xbox One and PS4 version to focus on the next-gen versions, so I didn't want to risk potentially missing out on achievements. It turned out you didn't lose anything if you didn't play it, but I actually kind of enjoyed my time with this one. For the achievements, you literally just had to play the story. You didn't have to do any of the in-game bullshit. You didn't have to buy anything. So I played this literally the way it was not meant to be played. Obviously, they want you to buy microtransactions. They want you to delve into the end game. But if you just play it for the story, it's not bad. I mean, it's a left trigger, right trigger game. Left trigger aims, right trigger shoots. But it was fun, man. It's co-op. You can play with up to 4 friends. It's a good time. It's a pretty looking game. It runs really smooth. There's a bunch of like particle and light effects. Not a bad game at all. And it's one that if they would have done a separate version or a separate list of achievements for the Series X version, I would have played it in a heartbeat. But yeah, not a bad game at all. Next up was the console version of Rust. And ooh lord, this was my first experience with Rust. I'm not a huge survival game guy, but man, this thing was janky. They ended up closing the servers down for the Xbox One PS4 version because they were going to release a Series X PS5 version that was more in line with the PC version. But man, dude, I had some funny stories playing this one. I talked about it on the podcast, but it's really difficult for like a new player to jump into Rust and for it to be effective. I ended up getting all the achievements before the servers went down, but I don't see myself playing Rust ever again after this. If they make like a separate list, sure, of course I'll do it. I'm addicted to gamer score. But I didn't enjoy my time with this one. I get why people are attracted to this game because, like, if you can run a server and you're top dog, it probably is pretty rewarding, but it can never be me, man. I've just got too many other things to do, and it's such a time sink, and losing everything is so painful. Closing out the month of May, Microsoft released Retro Classics on Game Pass. Basically, it's a bunch of arcade games, it's a bunch of old DOS games, and you can stream them through AntStream. Kind of a cool concept. There's a bunch of like daily and weekly challenges that I find myself playing every once in a while. So it's fun to be able to check out these games. The streaming, I haven't had any personal issues with it. I know sometimes people say they're more reliable than others, but like they've added Police Quest, Mech Assault. They've got like PlayStation versions of the games out there, which is really interesting. I mean, it's free if you've got Game Pass. If you're interested in like retro games, it's worth checking out. Some of the games are expensive, some of them are stuck on arcade, so kind of cool to check some of these games out, man. For the month of June, again, there was a bunch of carryover games. I ended up completing Doom: The Dark Ages in the month of June, but the first new game I played was Top Spin 2K25. And again, this was for the server closure. I don't care about tennis at all. I needed these achievements. I mean, I guess it's a fine tennis game, but I ended up not getting all the online achievements because it's like a 200-hour time sink, and I don't have 200 hours of tennis in me. And you've got to get pretty high up the leaderboards to get all the achievements, so I got what I got, and I moved on to my next game. Next up, I ended up playing Fear Files, and if you guys remember, that was the standalone expansion for Fear on the 360. I had somebody from True Achievements randomly message me and be like, hey, I see you have Fear Files on your want to play list. Do you want to do the multiplayer? So of course, if somebody's randomly reaching out to me wanting to do a game that I guarantee you nobody's on playing, as an achievement hunter, you do that, you play that. Next up was another unique game that I found thanks to Game Pass, and that would be Dordogne. Dordogne is a puzzle game that's all hand-painted art, and honestly that's what made me want to try it, just because I watched a video and I was like, damn, this looks really pretty. But you play as a girl spending the summer at your grandma's house, and there's a mystery that unravels, and I don't want to spoil the story for you guys if you haven't played it, but it's a sweet little story, and the game's just absolutely gorgeous, man. Like, I know this one got some buzz when it came out. I just missed it, but thanks to Game Pass, this is the kind of stuff that you find that you normally wouldn't play. But I saw it was leaving, and I was like, this looks really interesting. I'll give it a shot. I'm glad I did, man. This was a fun little game. I got every collectible, got all the puzzles done and everything, 100%ed it. I'm glad I spent my time with this one. This was a good one. Next up, we were due for another Gimme Gamerscore game, and I ended up playing Happy Busude. This game is just a Super Mario Bros. Arcade ripoff. They tried to do something different with the aesthetic and make it look like a Game Boy game, but yeah, let's not waste our time here. Next up was, thankfully, my last golf game, and that was PGA Tour 2K21. This was made by the same people who did the golf club games when they got the PGA license, and yeah, man, it's more the same, more golf. On to the month of July. A lot of repeats here, but this was the month when I did end up hitting my 1 million gamer score, so it slowed down a little bit on some of these Gimme Gamerscore games. But the first game I played in the month of July was a recommendation from a friend, and it's really funny after coming off of Rust wanting to play a survival game, but he wanted to check it out, so I went ahead and bought it and played it with him for a little bit, and that was Deadside. This game is basically Rust that runs and performs better on console. The shooting is actually really solid in this game. It's extremely lethal. You'll get hit with like 1 or 2 bullets and you're dead. The thing is, it's a survival game, so you're gonna lose all your shit. We have some really funny stories from playing this one. We had one guy where he was basically running the server, and he was like, you guys are the only base I couldn't find, so I'm gonna give you everything. So we had like a shitload of guns. So my buddy called me at like 1 o'clock in the morning and was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm sleeping, bro, I gotta work tomorrow. He's like, help me run these guns. So I spent 2 hours running guns back to our base. And then it's funny because we logged in the next day or 2 days later or a week later or something, and everything was gone. Like, we got gotten when we were sleeping. So after that, my buddy never played the game again. So it's one I'll go back and revisit. I mean, it's not horrible. I just need to be in the right mindset, I think. Immediately coming off of Rust was asking a lot. I talked about it in my 1 million gamerscore video, but Nate and I were trying to find a game to play together to cross the 1 million mark. So we attempted to play classic Doom in co-op, and unfortunately the newest version of Doom does not give you achievements when you're in co-op, but we did go through episode 1 on the Nightmare difficulty, and that was a lot of fun. Our next game to attempt the crossing of 1 million gamer score was Redfall. We honestly just thought it'd be really funny because we knew what we were getting into with this one. But honestly, this game, we were playing it initially and we're like, this game's not the worst piece of shit I've ever played. Like, it functions, it runs. and then you get to the second half of the game where it takes you to a different island, and the game completely breaks. It will not let you play co-op anymore. You're stuck playing it by yourself, and I was like, I'm good, man. Our whole idea of playing this was we're supposed to be playing a game together that crossed 1 million. So I quit playing it. I don't have the stomach to go back to this fucking thing just to watch it barely function and barely work, but I'll have to do it someday. But I can assure you I'm not in a hurry. This game deserves more hate than it actually gets because it's deceptive. It works okay and you feel sorry for it initially, and then you get to that Act 2 and you're like, man, fuck this game, with a capital F, and I can't emphasize that F hard enough. Fuck this game. I hate it. Next up was the game that we did cross 1 million gamer score with. And yeah, we covered it in the video, so I won't spend a ton of time here, but it wasn't glamorous. It was a server closer game, and that's Need for Speed Rivals. There was an Xbox 360 and an Xbox One version. We got the online aspect of the game done. Next up was Assetto Corsa. I'm pretty picky when it comes to car games, but there was one online achievement for this game, and they were closing the servers, so I got it done. Truthfully, I played one match of it online to get my achievement, so I can't sit there and tell you if this is a great game or not. I will say it's very realistic. The physics are insane on this game, so if you don't like realistic racing games, this is not going to be one for you. Next up is a game they finally laid to rest, and they needed to. Anthem. Now, this is a game I picked up at launch. Much like everyone else, I was a sucker for the hype. I played it for about 12 hours and then slowly realized, oh shit, like this is it. It's the same thing over and over. I'm good. So I gave up on it. They announced the servers were going to be closing at the beginning of 2026, so I decided to get it done as soon as I could. This game's just lifeless. It's a shell. I think flying around and the shooting's actually enjoyable. The problem is it's all you do and there's no heart or substance to the game. This is like one of those games where the perfect example was like if this wasn't a live service game and they fleshed out some of the characters and they made you give a shit about the world, it probably would have been a pretty good game. It's just, there's no heart, there's no substance, it's all style. There's just, games as a service bullshit thrown in just to make it a games as a service. Yeah, it's the biggest what if ever in gaming in my question. Like, we could have had a real winner here, and we didn't. I still can't believe this is a fucking BioWare game. Next up, my number 5 game of the year, and one I had no idea was coming out until it was announced. I sunk hundreds of hours playing the original game with Sherry, and she's the one that got me onto it. I know I've talked about it on the podcast till I was red in the face, but Farm Together 2. It's just more Farm Together, and it does things better, and it makes you play co-op. It's a great game. It's so wholesome. It's so fun. Like, it's the ultimate game to where I can just turn it on and relax. It's the antithesis of Harvest Moon. Like, you don't have to stress or worry about anything. It's just a good time, man, and seeing the creativity of other people on their farms, and it's something that I can just pick up and play with Sherry, and it's a blast, man. Like, I love this game. It's hands down the second game I've stuck the most time into the 2025. I'm gonna keep playing it in 2026. Even after I get all the achievements, I'll still play this game. Like, I really enjoy this game. I think it's a lot of fun. It's a casual game, but it's one that you can really sink your teeth into and get lost in very easily. Next up is a game they decided to shut the servers down on, even though people really enjoyed it, because they wanted to push a sequel out that people did not enjoy, and that's Slipgate. This game is basically free to play Halo. It was a lot of fun. It was a long journey to get all the achievements in. You had to play like over 1,010 games, but it's fucking Halo pretty much, man. Like, it was fun. It was a long journey, but it wasn't a headache. Like, this was a good one. Next up is a game that I wanted to play when it originally launched, but I was a little hesitant to start because I was such a fan of the original, and this one was such a departure, being a roguelike. Well, that's Turnip Boy Robs Bank. Thankfully, I ended up loving this game. I ended up 100%ing it, getting all secrets, getting all items. This game's awesome. I am not a huge fan of the roguelike. I think it's an interesting concept, but most of the time, execution just not there. Execution's there with this one. This game was hellaciously fun. It was like nosebleed difficult at times, but rewarding. I love the world and the characters of the Turnip Boy games. I hope we keep getting them, and maybe there'll be a different genre every time. The first game was more like Zelda, so this was quite a departure, but this game was awesome. Like, check it out. It's worth your time for sure. Next up was Castle Walker. This game straight up is a Castlevania clone, and that's why it piqued my interest. It was cheap, it's a gimme gamer score game. It does have the Castlevania difficulty, which was fun and rewarding. But yeah, man, it's a Castlevania clone. Like, of course I'm there. I love Castlevania, so this one was easy. Next is Skyforge. This is a Russian-developed MMO, and they shut the servers down, and I'm assuming that was due to the conflicts in Russia. I know a lot of the at-game games went down last year for PC mainly, but this one was on console, and I got the achievements I could on it. All the storefront things you needed for achievements, like certain characters and things, were removed once they decided to delist the game, and once they announced the server closure, you couldn't buy them. So I got what I could with it. I mean, it was basically, the premise is you become a god of sorts, and you have to fight other gods. Not a lot here. I played it for the achievements. No one's gonna miss this thing when it's gone. There was surprisingly a bunch of people still on it, I will say that. But I mean, I'm sure they moved on to something better at this point. They had to, the game's closed. And then lastly, to finish the month of July, we ended up playing Mecha Break. This is one I need to go back to. This game was really fun, it's really fast paced, it's really smooth, it runs really well, and like, goddamn, I just wish I had Gundams, man. Like, I would be playing this thing non-stop if it was a Gundam game. But fun game, one I'll definitely revisit in the future. Like, this is worth your time checking out. And it's free, so if you hate it, whatever, no harm, no foul. For the month of August, the first new game that I played was Blacksmith Forger. This was like one of the gimme games. You can get everything in 5 minutes for every achievement. I literally just needed some footage of unlocking achievements for my Million Gamer Score video is why I played this thing. And yeah, man, I felt dirty after this one. Like, it's so simple. It was just like, this is ridiculous that this is okay, and that it gives you 1,000 gamer score in 5 minutes. Absolutely nuts. Next up, we have a server closure game. That's WWE 2K24. I am a wrestling fan, so this thing should be a home run, even though I'm kind of just meh on WWE in general. But I really hate every 2K sports game. Like, they're all fucking ass. They're all just too focused on like animations and sluggish and slow, and the wrestling games are no exceptions. Like, these are a fucking chore to play. They're really pretty, like the character models are insane, like how realistic some of the characters look, but they're not fun. And if I'm playing a video game, I want to have fun, so this was an absolute chore and a bore to play. Another sports game, another server closer. We've got NHL 21. Man, there hasn't been a good hockey game in years. Probably the last good one was on the 360 with NHL 12. I used to buy these things every year. I can't stomach them anymore. They're all just so hyper focused on like Ultimate Team to like take your money. The gameplay hasn't changed since 2012. So yeah, I hate these fucking things. And I love hockey, so this should be fun for me, but again, it's a chore to play. No bueno. To close the month of August is a game I actually played earlier in the year, but I wanted to give a special shout out to the Xbox release of Helldivers 2. What is there to say, man? I glazed this game up last year. This game's still great, and yeah, I double dipped. Like, I can get achievements and play Helldivers more. Like, why the fuck would I not? Game's still great. Game's been supported tremendously. Love me some Helldivers 2. On to the month of December, I decided to play another Gimme Gamerscore game. This one was called Colorful Color. It's another puzzle game that was really fast and had a lot of bright lights zipping around. This one was challenging, man. This is not your typical Gimme Gamerscore game where you're just gonna get it done in one setting. I had to put like 5 hours or so into this one. And yeah, man, this one takes some time and it's not easy. Like, some of these puzzles are long. Some of these levels are like 30 to 40 minutes, so good luck with this one if you're going for easy gamer score. Next up was a game I was really excited for before they announced Battlefield 6 and all the hype and momentum died, but that was Delta Force for console. I grew up playing the original Delta Force games on PC, so I was pretty excited for this, but after playing it, I mean, it's okay. There's nothing inherently wrong with it. It's just more of the same. I ended up playing the multiplayer for a bit, and you know, there's no real point in continuing to playing that once Battlefield 6 came out, so I stopped. I did check out the campaign, and it is very rough. Major glitches on the first level, and I decided to not waste my time with that because there was so many glitches. Like, I'm talking enemies just walking through walls and shooting you, and it just wasn't polished. The extraction mode was something I checked out quite a bit. My buddy was pretty good at it. I didn't have as much success. I did okay sometimes, but I think there's better options if you're into the extraction shooter stuff as well. But again, it's free to play, so no harm, no foul. I just stopped playing it. Next up, we have another console clicker game, and there's also an Xbox One and a Series X version, so I double dipped. I played this one for achievements. This one was not nearly as good as the Grim Idol game, but this one was an Idol Wizard. You're basically making potions and spells and stuff. Yeah, not worth your time. If you're gonna play one, play Grim Idol. Next one's a very interesting case. So my buddy was telling me that he was talking to the dev that released this demo that has achievements on it. And we didn't know if they're gonna end up pulling the demo or if they're gonna remove it from the marketplace, because demos aren't supposed to have achievements. And they're a new development team, so he was like, oh, we were under the impression that everything that gets released to the Microsoft Store is supposed to have achievements. So they got away with releasing achievements on this thing, and sure enough, it did get delisted. But this was Beacon of Nebula, the demo for the game. It's an interesting game. It's like a wasteland world where there's robots, and you have to defend this tower, and you're building structures to defend yourself from the onslaught of robots coming your way. It's all done in like a, SNES art style. Pretty interesting game. It's one I would definitely check out the full release of, but I don't think a lot of people are going to have these achievements on their cards, so I was happy to check this one out. Next up is the worst game I played of 2025, and this is one that's no shame, released to get the achievements in 15 or 20 minutes, but it's called Bullet Trail. It's literally just like the Freak on a Leash music video with the bullet going through the wall, but you control it, you hit stick figures, you move on to the next level. Super quick, super horrible, probably developed on an iPad. Not great, don't play this piece of shit. But I'm a slave to the gamer score. Lastly, for the month of September, I played Hadestar Dark Nebula. This is a mobile game they ended up making for PS4 and Xbox One. They're closing the servers down because I don't know who thought that was a good idea. But honestly, the game wasn't horrible. If I would have started it sooner, it's when I could have got a little farther in. But you're basically developing like space trading stations. It's a resource management game. So there's nothing inherently wrong with it. It just does have the mobile thing where you have to wait for your resources to spawn. Unless you spend currency, which they ain't gonna fly on a console. So I know why they shut the servers down, and I get it. But I would have played this one some more. I would have enjoyed it, but it was just too little too late. On to the month of October we go, and we're starting it out with another server closure. This one's Pac-Man Mega Tunnel Battle Chop Champs. God damn, that was a mouthful. And honestly, fuck this game, because this is the reason Pac-Man 99 got shut down, and Pac-Man 99 was fucking awesome. Bandai basically made this game to have a Pac-Man Battle Royale on every console. And this game did nothing better than Pac-Man 99. It was uglier. There was like monetization where you could have Pac-Man wear hats and stuff. This thing did nothing, and Pac-Man 99 was fine, so it's whatever. If a Pac-Man Battle Royale sounds interesting to you, then this game was it. You can no longer purchase and or play this game, so what's done is done. Next up, a Gimme Gamer Score game, Caterpillar. This game's not bad. This game was kind of fun. It's a puzzle game. You have to collect the pieces with the caterpillar. The caterpillar can jump. The caterpillar can dash. It's a very simple game, but I've played much more egregious games, and this thing has 5,000 gamer score, so that's what's up. Keeping with the caterpillar theme, the next game was leaving Game Pass, and I heard a bunch of really good things about it when it initially released, and I wanted to check it out. And again, leaving Game Pass is usually the perfect opportunity for me, and the game was Cocoon. I absolutely love this game. This game was great and deserves all the accolades and praise that it had coming its way. Some of the puzzles were extremely difficult and kind of inception moments where your head's just spinning because you're doing puzzles within puzzles within puzzles. But yeah, this game's visually stunning. It's atmospheric. This is absolutely worth a play. If you're into puzzle games at all, this one's definitely worth checking out. I can't recommend this one enough. Next up, Codemasters decided to shut all of its Dirt games down. So first up's Dirt 3. Me and the gang decided to do the online for this one. It was what it was. Like, I'm not huge into the rally racing games. I think it's amazing what those guys do, and it takes a ton of skill. I'm just super picky about my car games, man. Like, I like Forza. I like Forza Horizon. That's pretty much it. This is another game that ended up surprising me. I thought this was just going to be a Gimme Gamer Score game, but this game was actually really cool. This game is called Kovac's Pitch, and basically it's a rhythm game where you're swinging at a baseball, and it's got a really cool soundtrack. It's like punky, and it's got a whole story around this kid that's trying to aspire to be a baseball player. This one really surprised me. I thought this was going to be just a standard Gimme Gamer Score game, but the story is really interesting. If I say too much, it'll spoil it. But this one's actually delisted, so you're not able to get it on PlayStation or Xbox anymore. It is, however, available free on Steam, and I recommend you check it out. This game was pretty cool. I was pretty pleasantly surprised with this one. Continuing with the Codemasters online server shutdown, we had Grid 2. This is more of their, course racing game. I mean, whatever, man. It's cars. Right trigger goes, vroom vroom. Next up, being spooky season, I was looking for a scary game to play just to get into the season or whatever, being October, and I was notified that Billy's Game Show was getting delisted. So I ended up purchasing the Xbox One and the Xbox Series X version. Game's not great. It is scary as shit when this thing appears out of nowhere, but it's one of those Five Nights at Freddy type of deals that looks like it was developed on a fucking tablet. I've never played Five Nights at Freddy's, so maybe it doesn't play like Five Nights at Freddy's, but I don't know. There's this whole cartoony mascot horror vibe thing going on, and whatever, man. I got my wish playing a scary game, but this wasn't it. The game's not horrible, for what it is. It's no Resident Evil 7, We had some heavy hitters to close out the month of October, starting off with Battlefield 6. And yeah, man, I love Battlefield 6. It's lived up to the hype for me. It was my number 4 game of the year. It's great, man. It's everything we wanted in the Battlefield community. It's back to basics. The game's awesome, and I'm still playing it to this day, and I love every fucking minute of it. I know the player base has fallen off for some reason. There's just so many games to play now, I guess, but I'm still having a lot of fun with this game. And then finally, to end the month, one of my most anticipated games of the year, the second it was announced. Power Wash Simulator 2. Yeah, unfortunately, this one did not live up to the hype for me. I think some of the new gadgets are fun. Honestly, this game's biggest sin is the levels are just kind of generic. There's no heart or soul like there was in the first game. All the goofy shit's gone. This game takes itself completely serious. There's no aliens that are going to show up. I don't know, man. I still enjoyed my time with it for sure. I played it co-op. That was a lot of fun. But we beat the game, and I just kind of felt empty after beating it, man. I'm excited for the DLC, sure. It's more Power Wash. It's just how much I loved the first game. This game should have hit a little harder for me, and it was just lacking. It's not a bad game. I think if you're a fan of the first one, you should still check this one out. But if it was play the first one or play the second one, I would tell people play the first one, just because I think the levels are so much better. On to the month of November, which is historically a difficult month for me to play video games. Due to my job, there is basically 2 weeks in November and maybe 3 weeks, if you count the first week of December sometimes, where I'm just working 6 days a week, sometimes up to 14-hour shifts. So it's tough for me to get a gaming session and play a game that's long. So there's a bunch of Gimme Gamer Score games here. Obviously I played Battlefield 6. It's easy to jump into a couple matches there, but that's the kind of shit we're looking at in the month of November. First up is Escape Sequence. This is a game I literally looked at the guide and pushed up, down, right, left, right. Tells you exactly what to do. Some of the levels later on get extremely convoluted, and you'll literally be button pressing for 15 minutes straight, so if you fuck up, you gotta start over. But the game's not hard. It's a Gimme Gamer Score game. It's worth 4,000 gamer score. This shit is the kind of stuff I played in November. Interestingly enough, Xbox had a bundle. There was a developer that's notorious for making these gamer score games, right? And it was a 6-game bundle, and I didn't have any of the games on there. And it was $6 for 6 games, so $1 each for some of these games go up to 5,000 gamer score. So you know me, if that doesn't scream addiction, I don't know what does. First up was Super Snake Block DX, and this is basically a Temple Run style game, but you're rodeoing a giant snake that gets bigger the more blocks you eat. So it's kind of a mix between Temple Run and Snake. This one actually was kind of fun, man, I ain't gonna lie. The different snakes have different abilities, This one wasn't bad. I was laughing and shit playing this one. Not bad at all. The next game in the bundle was called Prison of Illusion, and again, this is kind of a Super Meat Boy style clone. Way easier than Super Meat Boy, but yeah, kind of a nothing burger. There was an Xbox One and an Xbox Series X version, so I was able to double dip. The next game in the bundle was Elon and the Divine Proof, and this thing is just a stolen asset, tablet developed piece of shit. There was an Xbox One and a Series X version, 4,000 gamer score on both versions, so 8,000 gamer score, but yeah man, fuck these games. I don't particularly love supporting these kind of developers that just make this fucking shovelware bullshit, but again man, I'm a slave to that fucking gamer score, so here I am. And then the final game in the bundle was Green Soldier's Heroes, and this was a spiritual successor to the Army Men games back in the day. This one's more of like an on-rail cover shooter kind of Gears of War style, but nowhere near as advanced as Gears of War. But this wasn't bad. I really enjoyed playing the Army Men games growing up, so it was kind of fun to see that aesthetic again. But yeah, this one wasn't horrible. I also played Surviving Mars in the month of November. It's one I played previously and the DLC ended up going on sale, so I picked it up. But yeah, it's basically a survival simulator where you build a base on Mars and you gotta keep the population alive. I do dig like these kind of games, and they're uncommon on console for sure. But this was a good one, man. They actually did a remaster for this game recently, and if you're into the simulator games or the Civilization style games, this was a good one. Finishing up the month of November was a free-to-play game with the servers going down, with rumors of the game relaunching, so we'll see. But it was called Warlander. This game's kind of a MOBA, but you're in control of like your attacks and your abilities. So kind of think of Smite, but more you're in control of the abilities and the actions. It's like real-time combat, but Smite. It's medieval, so you can pick like a wizard, you can pick an archer, you can pick a cleric. I mean, it was alright for what it was, man. You had to play 100 games of this thing, so it took some time. But this game wasn't the worst thing I've ever played. It was kind of fun, just repetitive, and there's only 2 maps, so you know, it had free-to-play disease, but I've definitely played worse. I am curious to see if this thing relaunches. On to the month of December, where again, I kind of pushed myself a little hard in some of these gamerscore games. I wanted to try to finish the year with 1,100,000, and I did end up doing that. So there are some gamerscore games to get through, and then I'll end it with my 2 big games that I played. First up was another free-to-play idle clicker game. This one was called Cardstorm Idle. This one was pretty good. I don't know if this is going to be an ongoing trend where we get more of these things, but this one was pretty fun. You're basically battling dragons and other creatures, and you're leveling up your weapons and attacks. This one was pretty fun. I mean, again, you click the screen. Again, there was an Xbox One and a Series X version, so I was able to double dip. These are with 2,000 gamer score, so there's 4,000 more right there. Next up is another gamer score legend. We're looking at a threequel, Reactor X3. This is a game you basically have to match corresponding color paths to complete a circuit. These games aren't bad, man. They're pretty fun. I think it's a reason why they've made 3 of them. It's always great when you play these games expecting to be dog shit and they turn out to be fun, so this one's no different. This one was good. Next up for the Gimme Gamerscore games was Squad Killer. This one was like shockingly violent for like cartoony aesthetic graphics. You'd hit these guys with bullets and they would just splat to like horrible red paint and red mist all over the screen. But like this one was really repetitive. This one was boring. It took about 40 minutes. You just had to keep killing enemies over and over and dying over and over, but I don't recommend this one at all. The final Gimme Gamerscore game I played of 2025 was called Sen Kaiju, and this one was awesome. The gimmick here is that basically this is bust a move, but instead of matching 3 colors, you're matching similar shape and color balls, and they get larger, so it takes up screen. It's basically like bust a move met Tetris. And this one was a lot of fun. I ended up playing this one more after I got my achievements, and look, I love bust a move so much. I love Godzilla, Kaiju so much, and this combined both things. Like, this was a really fun game. I would definitely continue to play this one if I had to kill 5 minutes or something. And then the last game before we get to the good stuff was The Swindle. The only reason why I played this game is because there's an achievement you have to play on Christmas to unlock, and I did that. But the game is actually kind of interesting. You're basically a thief, and you have a set amount of time to get as much loot as you can to move on to the next level. It's basically like a cartoon aesthetic. This one will be fun to go back and visit. I'm kind of looking forward to this one a little bit. The entire game's procedurally generated, so every time you play it, it's going to be completely different, so that'll be interesting. A game I had a lot of fun playing and did not have any expectations going into was a game about digging a hole. I talked about this one in our 2025 Year in Review podcast, so I'm not going to spend too much time here, but this game was cool. If you like weird, unique, quirky shit, check this one out. It's on Game Pass if you don't want to buy it, but this one's cool. It surprised me in a lot of ways. I didn't expect the horror aspect. I didn't expect a game about digging a hole to be fun. But yeah, this was a good one. Like, I definitely recommend this game if you like weird shit. It's not going to be for everyone, but yeah, this is a good game. And then finally, my game of the year, everybody's game of the year, Clair Obscur Expedition 33. So, truth be told, I usually don't play games brand new when they launch because I usually just wait for any sort of patches, any sort of DLC. But I kept hearing about this game, like everybody glazed it up, and yeah, before we get there, it deserves every single ounce of praise that it gets. But this one felt special to me, man. I kept hearing about it, and then I watched the Game Awards, and it just swept the house. And I was like, I gotta at least start this thing before the end of the year. And now that I'm playing it, it's literally all I think about. It's all I want to play. I've had kind of a rough start to 2026, so I haven't got to play it as much as I wanted to. But yeah, man, this game deserves all the accolades. The story is just absolutely incredible. I actually give a shit about each and every character. I think the combat system is really unique and different. Like, I'm not a turn-based guy at all. I've talked about it in our 2025 episode as well. But this game's combat just absolutely phenomenal. The soundtrack's gorgeous. Like, the game's pretty. I don't know what the fuck y'all are talking about. This looks like a PS3 game. Y'all are fucking high. Like, this game is truly a generational game. It is going to go down as game of this generation. There's no doubt in my mind about it. Play this game. Like, I'm not the one to convince you. Like, everybody's in agreement here. And yeah, this game's outstanding. It's hands down the game of the year. Well, guys, I want to thank everybody for joining me for my 2025 overview. Looking forward to 2026. I do want to play some of my backlog more. Obviously, 2025, that million gamer score was that carrot I was chasing. And I got that goal done. Obviously, I'm still going to go for gamer score, but I do want to get through my backlog and play some of my retro games, man. Like, I did not play nearly enough in 2025. So that'll be some more of that sprinkled into 2026, hopefully. I hope all of you have a great start to 2026 and a great year in general. Thank you for being a listener and or viewer for the podcast. Be sure to check out the channel for more video game related content. We got some cool shit lined up for 2026, so looking forward to seeing y'all. Thank you. Goodbye.